I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So in our last reading, we finished the words of King Benjamin. He gave his address, and then he asked the people. He sent to them all, "What is your feeling? What is your response to all this?" And they all made a covenant to follow God. And Benjamin then gave his final words about being the adopted sons and daughters of Christ through baptism and keeping his name written on our hearts. Now we pick this up in chapter 6. King Benjamin records the names of the people and appoints priests to teach them. Mosiah reigns as a righteous king. And now King Benjamin thought it was expedient, after having finished speaking to the people, that he should take the names of all those who had entered into a covenant with God to keep his commandments. And it came to pass that there was not one soul, except it were little children, but who had entered into the covenant and had taken upon them the name of Christ. And again it came to pass that when King Benjamin had made an end of all these things, and had consecrated his son Mosiah to be a ruler and a king over his people, and had given him all the charges concerning the kingdom, and also had appointed priests to teach the people, that thereby they might hear and know the commandments of God, and to stir them up in remembrance of the oath which they had made, he dismissed the multitude, and they returned every one according to their families to their own houses. And Mosiah began to reign in his father's stead, and he began to reign in the 30th year of his age, making in the whole about 476 years from the time that Lehi left Jerusalem. And King Benjamin lived 3 years, and he died. And it came to pass that King Mosiah did walk in the ways of the Lord, and did observe his judgments and his statutes, and did keep his commandments in all things whatsoever he commanded him. And King Mosiah did cause his people that they should till the earth, and he also himself did till the earth, that thereby he might not become burdensome to his people, that he might do according to that which his father had done in all things. And there was no contention among all his people for the space of 3 years. Another nice, short, sweet chapter. They take a record of all those who have made the covenant, because we know that for a covenant to be binding, it must be recorded. So the people have made this covenant, and then Benjamin goes through and he records it all. Now, this was a great multitude. Did he do it? Did he get it recorded all in one day? I doubt it. As I've said at the beginning of this discourse, back in chapter 2, maybe chapter 1, I think this was done during the Passover. The Passover lasts for 8 days, so he was taking this record, and then at the end, when it was all done, he sent the people home because the Passover was over now. Mosiah is king for 3 years. He runs the kingdom. Benjamin is still alive for those 3 years, and then he dies, but he's in retirement now. According to my estimate, Benjamin would have been about 94 when he gives this address, which means he was in his 60s when Mosiah was born, because Mosiah is only 30. And for those 3 years, Mosiah has a continual peace. There are no contentions among the people, and there are no wars with the Lamanites. Now it also says Mosiah, following the example of Benjamin, he's planting his own crops. He says he is a farmer himself. He's out there planting his own crops, producing his own food so that he doesn't need to tax the people to support himself and his family. Now, I have no doubt that there was some kind of taxation to help support the central government. Even if he's growing his own food, he has to take time to run the kingdom. But he produces enough food that he doesn't have to take food as taxes. It's an interesting idea there. Now, it says he reigned, it mentions King Benjamin's death. Then it mentions the 3 years of peace for Mosiah. But they're the same 3 years. Benjamin lived for 3 years and died. During those 3 years, Mosiah is tilling the ground himself. He is running the kingdom in righteousness, and there is continual peace. We leave that here. We will pick it up in chapter 7 next, so I will see you there.